of wise networking, I'm just going to go through something real quick here. I'm going to configure a router for SSH. That way you can log on remotely to manage the router. So I'm just going to go through the quick steps here. As you see on the screen here, I have a router, I have a switch, and a PC. It's really simple. I already have the PC configured with an IP address. I just did that statically. And I'm going to go through how to configure this router so that you'll be able to connect with this PC via SSH, which is secure shell, to manage that router. So I'll go through those steps for you real quick. First thing I do, we can come to the router, get into the command line here. We're gonna do an enable. We're gonna go configure terminal. Right away, we'll just give this a host name. Let's call it R1. And then here I'm gonna enable a password right here for this router. So we're gonna do enable. We'll do secret. That will be encrypted. And we'll give it a quick password. We'll do something real simple. ABC123. Obviously, you don't want to use that one. It's very easy, but for this lab, we'll do that. So we got that password. And then you're going to have to give this router, to make this work, you got to give it a domain name. So you can kind of IP domain, I believe it's dash name, and we'll give that, we'll just call it mydomain.local. Next, we'll do a username. Let's do my name real quick, Mike1, and then we'll do a password for this. Well, this one's secret also, just because we want it to be encrypted. And we'll do the same, ABC123. And now you want to do the command crypto key generate RSA. And that will give you how many bits. So 512, I would do a minimum of 1024. I like to go even higher, so I'll go 2048. So I will do that. And then next thing, so we kind of got the password set, username set. We did the crypto key generation. That's kind of what we did right there. So now I'll go in, and you got to do the command line VTY 0-4. So what that is, that's like a virtual terminal. These are virtual terminal lines that are made for, they're like a virtual interface that's made for administrators to get in and manage these routers. So basically what we're doing with those 4 lines, we're making those lines available to get in through SSH. So those are the lines we're going to use. So now we're in the, if you can see here, you can see the config-line command. Like that's where it went to there. So from there we'll go transport input SSH, and then we'll say login local. And so we have that set up. So that's basically how we set up the SSH right there. But what I haven't done yet, I haven't configured the router with an IP or anything yet, so I'm going to do that real quick. So after we get that part done, we can exit out of here to go back to the configure terminal mode, that global config mode. And I'm going to go into the interface mode. And the interface for the interface I want is 000, as you can see right here. This is the interface for this router. So we'll go to that interface, switches me to interface mode. I'm going to give it an IP address of 192.168.10.1, which is this right here. It's a /24. So 255.255.255.0. Give that the IP address. And that's like the gateway address that we have for the PC also. Like that. And then we're going to give this a no shutdown. So we change that interface to up. So now let's exit out of here. Exit here. We're just going to do a show IP SSH. And you can see here that SSH has been enabled. And you can see everything turned green here once I made that up. So SSH is enabled right here. So now that is configured. That is the whole configuration for the router. So I can close this down. You can see we got good connection here. Now there's two ways I'm going to use this PC to get into this router. And I did rename this. I changed that host name, so we'll just change this real quick so it reads the same as R1. So there's two ways you can get into there using this PC in Packet Tracer. If you have something like PuTTY, this is kind of I think this is how the interface for PuTTY would look. So we would go down. Right here they have a telnet/SSH. So you can type into that. And then you can use the host name or the IP address. So I'll use the IP address, 10.1. The username we used was Mike1. Click connect. The password we used was ABC123. And see, we're actually in router 1 right there. So if I click enable, it's going to ask for that password again that we set up, ABC123. And that was the first password we set up for the router. Boom, we are in router 1 right there. You can do config terminal, you can show IP interface brief, and you can see there's our gateway address that we put in right there. So we are in the router. We're using PC0 to control that router instead of being directly into that router, configuring it through like a console cable. We're actually using a secure shell to get to it, so you can manage through a virtual line. The other way I'm going to show you quick to get into it. So the other way I was going to show you to get into it, we can go to the command prompt there. And so the command prompt, we have some commands you can use. It'd be SSH-L. Type in the username. And I believe the IP address. And we'll do so we did SSH-L, the username, and this gateway IP address to that router. Ask for the password. We see 123, and we are back in. You can click enable. ABC123 was the password, and we are in. So from here, if you want to do config terminal, let's do. First we'll do show interface brief. Let's exit. Show IP interface brief. Let's just give this an IP address. This gigabit 0001. Go to the interface command. And there. We'll just give it an IP address of 192.168.10.2. 0. Oh, that overlaps. We'll give it a separate one. IP address 192.168.20.1. Oops, forgot the subnet mask. There. So it overlapped. I was basically giving the router another gateway address that had overlapped within the same subnet mask as the first one. So I changed that one, and I'm just going to do this to show you that we configured all this from the PC. So there it is, it's added. So I'm going to close this. And we're actually going to do, you can see it's down. I'll actually do a no shut on that also. So now we have it. This will stay down. Oh, nothing's plugged into it. So it's down. Okay. Anyhow, what I wanted to show there is basically that that's configured through the PC. So we're going to close this down. Now I'll go directly to the router to show you what we added has been done. So we can do a show IP internet brief. And there you can see we did this right here. Added this IP address from the PC. So that is how you set up SSH. I'll pull this over real quick just so you can look. This was the steps I used. This is the mop. If you want to take a screenshot of this. So starting here, this is just the description, the R1 configuration. So we hit enable. We configure your terminal, gave it a host name. We did enable the password. Had to give it a domain name, then a username, and another password. Crypto key, generate RSA. I give it the bit to 2048 bits. Then you go into the line VTY 0 through 4. That's what 0 space 4 because it's all 4 lines. Transport input SSH, login local. And then this area here is just how we normally would configure a router interface with an IP address. No shutdown. And this was just a command I used to show that it was enabled. That's not actually part of the configuration that makes it happen. It's all this here. And then notes down here was just how I got into it. Here is the commands, using the command prompt. And that is how you configure a router for SSH for Secure Shell to manage remotely. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.